Children's old man shouting at clouds again. Got the mic figured back out again. Hopefully that comes through. But man, what am I shouting at clouds about today? Today's topic of conversation is don't believe the hype. All right. What do I mean by that? Well, specifically, what I'm referring to today is the hype machine that is the internet. Now, I'm going to use the internet as kind of a catch all term for like social media, YouTube, Google search, the list goes on, and it'll evolve over time to include new things. But I'm kind of using that term broadly for stuff you will see online or like trends, topics that you will see online. Why am I cautioning you to not believe the hype? Is this fake information that's out there? No, it's not fake. And it does bear some passing resemblance to reality, right? Like the trends you'll see online, it's not that they're not real. It's just that the way a lot of these platforms work is based on algorithms. So they're going to show you content you engage with. That doesn't necessarily mean it's totally representative of reality. It just means a lot of people are engaging with that style of content. And I'll give you an example because I think it'll be really helpful here. But for example, something I've been seeing a lot, so this is on YouTube particularly, but I've been being served a lot of videos lately about how the car market is crashing. And I've been getting that kind of content for like at least 6 to 8 months. Now, probably part of the reason I've been getting that content is because for a while there I was shopping for cars. So I was looking for a lot of content on buying a car. Well, YouTube isn't dumb. They figured out I'm looking into that and they're like, okay, let's serve him up a bunch of content about cars. And what are people going to engage with a lot? Content about the market crashing, right? If the market crashes, one would anticipate prices will go down, and that would, at least in the short run, be good for consumers, right? If the price of a car comes down, more people can afford to buy one. But this is where the don't believe the hype comes into play, right? Because I have seen so many videos from so many creators on this topic for the last 6 to 8 months about the car market's crashing. Car market's crashing. Prices are coming down. Prices are coming down. You know what I find when I actually shop for cars? They're still really expensive. Spoiler alert, they're not cheap. They haven't been cheap at any point in the last 6 months. They're still not cheap. For all the talk of how much trouble the car manufacturers are in and how hard it's getting for dealerships to move inventory, prices are still high. It's still expensive to buy a car, new or used. So how is that possible? How could that really be happening if there's all this content about how the market is crashing? Well, because creators are incentivized to deliver content people want to watch. That's it. Full stop. It doesn't have to be right. It doesn't have to be accurate. And I don't think, to be clear, I don't think most of these creators are going out there trying to lie to people just to get views. But there's certainly an incentive to have clickbaity titles. There's certainly an incentive to talk about what's trendy, and less of an incentive to talk about things that aren't trendy, not sexy, like slow your roll. Like the car market might be adjusting somewhat, but there was an awful long way to go from the peak pricing we saw after COVID to where cars would actually need to be affordable for the average American, right? Like there's a huge discrepancy. So, okay, even if prices come down 10% and you have a loaded Toyota Tundra that goes from I'm somewhat making stuff up, but I don't think I'm totally off here, a price of $75,000 and it comes down 10%, that's still a really expensive truck. Okay. Is it a little less outrageous? Yeah, it is. But is it affordable for the average American? No, it's not. Your car payment goes down nominally, but it doesn't become affordable. Okay? When you look at what the median salary is for the average American worker, a $75,000 or a $65,000 vehicle, they might as well be the same thing. Neither of them are affordable for somebody in that income category. And when you try to find vehicles that actually are affordable for people in that income, not going to find much. You're certainly not going to find much on the new car market. And it's not even very easy to find much that's used for that price point, unless you don't mind getting a very old, very well worn in vehicle. So that's what I mean by don't believe the hype machine that is the internet, because they're going to talk. The internet, the creators, the thought leaders who are out on the internet are getting traction because they're talking about topics that are trendy, not necessarily because they're talking about things rationally. Or, like, go look at any one of my videos, okay? I try to be the anti-hype machine. I try to just, because I'm not trying to get 15 million viewers on YouTube. I'm literally just trying to give you guys information that will help you be effective adults. My videos get no views, which is fine. Like I said, I don't care. That's not the point of doing this. But I'm trying to talk to you guys about things that aren't sexy. It's like, show up and do your job every day. Start at the bottom, work your way to the top. Focus on doing the little things right. That's not sexy. People want to know how to get rich quick. Those videos get views. Talking about how to play the long game, how to invest in index funds for the long haul rather than YOLOing your life savings on Dogecoin, those videos don't get as many views. It's not sexy. It's not what people want. Nobody wants to grind for 15, 20, 25, 30 years to reach it to the top of the mountain. They want to be there tomorrow. So the videos based on getting you to the mountaintop tomorrow are the ones that get a lot of views and a lot of traction. But that strategy is not a long-term winning strategy for most people. Can you get to the top of the mountain tomorrow and get really lucky YOLOing all your money on Dogecoin? Yeah, you can. You can also lose all of your money. Guess which one of those two outcomes is more likely? Losing it all. Yeah. If you play the long game, your expected outcome is a win. It might not be as big of a win, but it's a win. If you play the short game, you could win big or you could lose big, and losing big is much more likely. But that's what people want, so they're going to flock to that kind of content, find out how they can get rich, quit their job, and live on a yacht. That's much more appealing than saying, well, you're probably going to be working for 25 years, but if you play your cards right, you won't have to work for 40. Who wants that answer? No one. I don't want that answer. I wish there was a way I could get rich tomorrow and, shoot my boss an email and say, won't be coming into work tomorrow or ever again. Like, every person who has ever held a job wishes they could send that email. That's why that kind of content performs. But I'm here to tell you, don't fall victim to it. Okay? Because that's just it's not reality. It's a dream. They're selling you a dream. Okay? Just like if you haven't figured it out already, a lot of the movies and TV shows you see are selling you a dream of a world that doesn't really exist. Okay? The nice dorky kid doesn't always get the pretty girl at the end. Okay? Correspondingly, the nice bookworm girl doesn't always get the super good looking, rich, successful guy at the end, okay? That's not real life. In real life, water finds its... That's not... That isn't it. But, like, you're going to find your level in life, okay? You're going to find somebody who's more or less on the same playing field as you. You're going to end up, to use a fighting analogy, you're going to end up punching your weight, okay? More or less. Do you maybe do a little better? If you're me, yeah, maybe. Maybe you do end up with somebody that is like half a step above where you'd be. But for the most part, you're going to end up right where you should be based on the level of effort you bring to the table, based on the skill set, based on the qualities you bring to the market. You're going to get those kind of opportunities more often than not, almost always, in fact. It's very rare that you're going to end up just completely out kicking the coverage, okay? That just doesn't generally happen in life. So building your entire strategy around that is probably not a great idea. You should probably build your strategy around what's most likely to happen so that you're best positioned to succeed when it ultimately does happen. Is it the sexy answer? No, it isn't. It's not. I wish I could tell you there was a get-rich-quick scheme that actually works for most people. I wish I could tell you there was a shortcut, an easy way out. But guess what? If you want six-pack abs, the right answer is eat right 99% of the time and exercise a whole lot. That's how you get them. Is there 1% of the population that just wakes up in the morning and they have a six-pack because God gave them the right genetic code and they just don't gain weight? Yeah. And good for those people. That's awesome. That ain't you, though. So if you want six-pack abs, pecs, guess what? You're going to do a lot of push-ups, sit-ups, and you're going to eat a lot of vegetables and low-fat proteins. Sorry, that's the world. Do you want them? Do you want the abs or not? Similarly, corner office. You want the corner office salary? Guess what? You're going to make some sacrifices on the weekend. Guess what? You're going to work some long hours. Guess what? You better study hard. You better get good grades. You better go to the right school. All the things. Do you want that lifestyle or not? That's how you get it. It's not by getting lucky, okay? Don't bet on luck. Hope is not a strategy. So, to bring this back full circle to what I was talking about earlier, you're going to see a lot of the content that's targeted at what we wish the world was like, and way less content targeted at what the world is actually like. Now, on the bright side, that also applies to things that people freak out about. Okay, so there's two types of content you're going to see a ton of on the internet. Really aspirational hope stuff, like what I told you earlier, how to get rich quick schemes, how to make a living traveling, yada. Okay, everyone would like that job. Don't count on it. You're going to see a lot of that kind of aspirational content, and you're going to see just as much, maybe even more, doom and gloom, the sky is falling, the world is coming to an end. You're going to see a ton of that kind of content because super aspirational hope stuff sells. Super doom and gloom, scary, be afraid stuff sells. That's the stuff that really sells. The stuff in the middle that's like, yeah, this isn't great, but it's not the end of the world. That doesn't sell. It doesn't freak people out, so they're not, it's not like watching a train wreck that you just can't tear your eyes away from. So predominantly you're going to see those two types of content on the internet. And I'm really, really hoping this one sinks in with you guys. Don't believe the hype, okay? Most of the things that people are going to say is like the end of the world. Most of them aren't. The overwhelming majority of them aren't. How do I know this? Because the world hasn't ended yet. There's been tons of end of the world content. Hasn't happened. Now, someday it could. Someday it will. But probably not tomorrow, probably not next week, probably not next month, probably not next year. Historically, I'm more likely to be right than they are. Similarly, most of the really aspirational, crazy, get rich quick scheme stuff doesn't work for most people. It's not the right answer. Turn the internet off sometimes, go read a book, calm down, don't buy the hype, stay the course, okay? I know I was probably all over the place on this one, but I do think it's a really important lesson for you guys to learn, and I really, 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 really hope you'll internalize it because more and more every day people are getting all of their information from the internet, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous to believe that and not take it with at least a healthy helping grain of salt, okay? Don't believe the hype. All right. Enough of that. I hope it helped. Love you lots. Catch you on the next one.